Ciao a tutti, ciao Rom, and I topped with Jorax. Yep. Just before we get into it, I'm gonna get into the rest of the tournament because Mortal Tech Monthly number 30 was the biggest tournament we've ever had. Even bigger than the 10th anniversary, and that is because of all the Edison and I assume even some modern players coming in because current format sucks, and Edison is getting stale. Maybe I don't know. I not entirely sure why Edison Bros are getting into hat. Very happy about it, but kind of curious. So leave that in the comments. But subscribe for every subscriber. The bank will not be able to be activated because Necro Valley is face up on the field. So yeah, hat one, hat with scythe is Kalina's list. So that is pretty cool because it has scythe, and I just made a video on that, and you should totally check it out. Um, but yeah, hat one, then Mermal in top four, Girgias and hat in top eight. All these are pretty standard. Infinities have got their first stop in the year. About them time. Not too happy about it, but uh, any Infernity W is an elf for the format, in my opinion. But I'm also kind of the guy that's trying to promote the format. So having Infernities dual is not great for me or the format. So yeah. But it got second place. Congrats to Sunstrider, which it's also his first hat tournament, and actually the first tournament where he's registered on format library. So hope you stay, even if you know, playing Infernities. But then the weirdest thing is two Kawaki Merus stopped. Both SRB or Sylvan Spiller and Blab both stopped with actually quite different lists. One with like forbidden cards and less traps, and the other with more traps, no maxi, but upstarts and dualities and Regen powers in the main deck. So kind of interesting there. But besides that, there's kind of been a huge influx of Merman players, probably new ones because didn't really translate to top card appearances. Only Nope and Nope top, which is the most active Merman player nowadays. And besides that, pretty standard five hat, five cat, eight Kirgias, and five Bouges, five mythic rulers, three spellbooks, which is kind of interesting because the deck so actually zero played the last tournament, so that's interesting. This did well. I really hope that spellbooks make a comeback in player base because I do think it is very strong. But yeah, let's get into Jurax. So originally this was gonna be episode 3 of Hanzo Shippuden. But I was playing originally a 46 card list with Jurax, ninjas, and artifacts. But then I just cut the ninjas because I can go to 30, 40, and the ninjas are kind of shit into artifacts and hands, and they're not that strong. So decided to just streamline it down to 40 cards, Jurax artifacts. Now, what's the synergy between the two archetypes? Mainly, it's that Moral Tech and Scythe let Guaiba trigger more often, and Iolo lets you go into Armades or Vulcan to combo with the artifacts. So those are kind of the two only real synergy points, but those are pretty good. So the list is like three Velo and three Guaiba, and three Fossil Dig for our Jurax, and the one Iolo. Iolo, it's great that you have a very searchable level 1 tuner that can also just be a better body for a level 4 dinosaur. Then three more attack, one side and one big attack, and then three maxi because it kind of like scythe. It makes Guaiba easier to trigger. Puts your opponent into a situation where Guaiba can really take advantage of him. Then three ignition, double cyclone, to double cyclone, triple lance, and double dress. Dress is kind of a new thing, but I don't know how much it translates to other decks, but in this deck, it actually just helps you break Hat's board going second really well. We'll get more into it when we get to the replays, but yeah, I, I don't know if that came up in this tournament, maybe once, but Stress is a really cool card in this deck. And then to Soul Charge because it's Soul Charge. Traps, triple Sanctum, triple Call Daunted, bottomless, warning, and double breaker skill. Just pretty standard stuff. No torrential because I want to keep my dinosaurs on the field. Extra deck, I only played like double play this Tiras, Volcasaurus, and Gaia for our artifact pool because there's a lot of room that I need for the Evolzars. Double Lagia, one Dolka. Couldn't fit the second Dolka in any way. But 1-1 Exiton, Dweller, Rhapsody, Black Ship, uh, pretty standard. And then one Armades and one Vulcan. Vulcan is probably the most cuttable card in the extra deck, but I do still really like it. But you could argue for cutting it for a second Dolka. Um, and then side deck Triple Crow, Dark Hole for Gilgias, Dress for Hat, Mind Control, Knock, double Blackhorn, double the Bank, and the triple Imperial and Wall, which is a card that I really like. And this deck can take advantage of it quite well. Um, so yeah, let's get into the replays. Starting off with my round 1 versus Paragon 5 on Gravekeeper Artifacts. I'm actually not gonna show every single round and I'm gonna fast forward, but yeah, like not every round is as interesting as other rounds. So here Gravekeeper Artifacts with hands is kind of an interesting matchup. Um, he opens with Sanctum Plays, and that's pretty strong. But going aggro versus artifacts with artifacts is not a great idea, and you're never really too sure when you're going up against set five whether it's Geargas or whether it's artifacts. And if it's Geargas, you win. If it's artifacts, you don't. But if uh, generally, if you're playing versus me, it's probably artifacts. So not really. I wouldn't really recommend playing like this. But I opened a full artifact hand. Like every fucking card I had was artifacts. Um, so that was kind of fucking funny. But like yeah, I don't think that going all aggro like this, like Paragon went versus someone that you suspect is playing artifacts is a great idea because that you could just get clapped back by the moral tax and even Scythe. To be honest, something that I forgot to mention in the Scythe video is Scythe is actually pretty good versus artifact Traptrix simply because of the attack stat. That's quite a lot. 2200 is kind of the main threshold for art. If for Gilgas it's 2400, the threshold for a beater. For art it's 2200 because it gets over 101 moral attack and it gets over 101. Um, but regardless, here I do think it's not here the misplay, right? But Necrovalley getting hit by artifacts is pretty damn strong. But he can search the spy, but can search commanded, and he just top decks Gravekeeper Spy. We were kind of debating whether he shuffled or not, but we checked the logs and he shuffled. And here I made a beast play. I should have just instead of going for ignition on the Necrovalley to go for the aggro play and running over the spy. I should have just waited until he flipped face up so I could break the skill. That was definitely a misplay on my hand. Uh, yeah, it didn't really matter too much. I just want to be pedantic because I want to improve as a player. So yeah, you can't really do that if you don't. That's kind of my opinion on the matter. But yeah, no, I'm gonna top deck Fossil League, very strong. Going to Fossil into Baiba, and this way I can just safely get rid of the Ice Hand. Uh, he jukes me very well with the set Schoolmeister, but I top deck pretty well into an artifact combo. Yeah. So Sanctum. So I'm able to go into Tiras for game. Um, not for game really, but I can just I uh, he quit at a pretty inopportune time. And, I would have gotten rid of the Necro Valley, but I didn't have game yet. I think maybe no, no, yeah, I did have game. Um, next up, round three versus Rasta Ninja, Dennis the Benis with Girgias or Girgia Karakuri actually. Skip round two because it was kind of weird. Shouts to Sylph for playing Madolche Ghost Trick Artifacts. That's a really cool deck. Madolche Ghost Trick Hands. That's a really cool deck. Uh, but I don't think that not playing the Messenger Auto package is the way. Um, because I would have 100% lost if he played those cards, but he didn't, so I actually won when I shouldn't have. But yeah, here showing the power of the Jirax when they are actually able to resolve, mainly of Soul Charge. Velo is actually really strong in that regard. For in this format. I drew full artifacts, but he also didn't. I was able to stop him somehow. Um, and Aiolo is kind of nice because you get him into the graveyard and you can get back a Guaiba or Avelo, so you don't have to get all of them from the deck because all of your other Jurak monsters get stuff from the deck, possibly too. So you do get through them if you do draw more than a couple of Jurak cards. Sorry, I have a bit of a cough, cold. Probably can tell by the voice. Maybe I don't know. I'm still getting used to playing with to speaking with more of a normal voice instead of just trying to speak loudly for some reason. I don't know why I've always done that. I already thought about not doing that, but here Dennis is gonna go for the Max Chi challenge, which he's gonna lose badly because I do have Scythe and Lagia on the field, so he can't OTK me, and I have like 10 cards in my hand. So you know what's he gonna do? Like I don't have any more Jurax in the great deck to summon, so that's why I summoned Velo instead of Guaiba. But when I have a full artifact board, I can just get rid of all of his big beaters, and what's he gonna do? So you're open Lance and Guaiba, so that's kind of good. But he does open Gig Armor and goes for two Gig Armors actually. I do have a couple of Blackhorns and Blackhorn and Warning and Sanctum, but here Scythe won me the game absolutely. Gilga Gear, strong card, amazing card, one of the strongest cards in the format. What's the counters? Maxi and Scythe, I guess, and Blackhorn and Wiretap and Warning. But Scythe pretty good, especially because in this deck I can just use the card for Lance, for Waiba, sorry. And here I top deck a fossil deck which I'm able to use for another Waiba. And actually, Waiba does trigger off dying and destroying, crashing into a 1700 monster. So that is very relevant. Um, but here I am able to go for the kind of the main wing of the deck, which is Lagia plus Pleiades. He just cannot normal summon here. He has full monsters, so plus soul charge now, and I have warning too for that. Lagia too. So he just can't normal summon. He can play, so I can just poke him. That's pretty cool. That's very cool when that happens. Anyways, round the 4 or 5 versus Sunstrider on Infinities, who second place at the tournament. I go first, which is kind of huge here, really, especially since I'm actually able to go for sight, if need be. So I have moral attack. Go for moral attack. Pop the Armageddon Knight. Goes for a lure. And I'm still not amazing at countering Infinity. I should make a video on that, but I need to learn to do that first. But here, Soul Charge, yeah, double cycloning the Soul Charge came up, which is uh, sort of an advanced play, I guess. But it's a very strong play. Should definitely do. But with address, I was able to do a funny play to crash my Velo into a smaller monster, so I could summon Guaiba, and with that I could go into Lagia, so I could go play this plus Lagia. Again, that's kind of my win condition. Lagia for the Soul Charge, play this for whatever monster you may have, and with 2600 plus 2400 that on 5000 life points, that's exactly game. So thank God I played Gaia. Um, I draw the Maxi turn one, so that's pretty good. It does have vanities, which is really strong here because I do have two sanctums which I can't use. So he's able to go for the beat down, and I was thinking about not selling dress. Big mistake. I should have totally said that because this happened. Chalice for game. So that was amazing. That was amazing. But I was kind of reliant on the top deck anyway. But here he has the Necromancer, but he's playing fucking Deep Prison for some reason and Wiretap. I Wiretap okay, maybe Trapson will be better, but why the fuck would you play Deep Prison here? Just play the bank if you're worried about hands, I guess. Um, but yeah, I'm able to go for again double Cyclone into the Soul Charge for Scythe. So that's really strong. It's a Soul Charge. Double Cyclone is usually like a more reactive card, but sorry, more of an end phase card. But with Soul Charge, you are able to use it quite optimally. Yeah, as just MST for Scythe. But if you still play this and they use the effect, you can't use the effect again. Pretty sure that's how it works. Um, usually I just bounce itself back, but anyways, I'm able to go for a game with normal summon Maxi. I think that's five. That's 5,100 life points. That's exactly game with the normal summon Maxi. So that's pretty funny. Um, Next up, we have round 6 versus COG Atwell on spellbooks. Um, this is artifacts versus spellbooks. I kind of included this here mainly because it was just, if I remember correctly, I just beat his ass so bad. It was kind of funny and sad at the same time. So he sets 2. That's exactly what I want. He just artifact combo his ass. 35,000. Then I have more attack. Yeah, then I have Coordinated and double lance. It's gonna be interesting. Goes for the blue buy. Searches fate and goes for master. But they bounced to play this the blue boy, so he can go into fate later, and play this is lance stuff to protect him from breakthrough skill. That's very strong. And he has the dark. It draws into dark hole, but they have another lance. So yeah. And the third card was another lance. So, literally play this lance control. It goes for duality into pretty strong hand. I've seen that spellbooks have been pivoting more into less into crescent and more into duality lately. I've been seeing 2% triple duality a lot lately, which is interesting. That could be the way. Maybe I don't know. Crescent does set up fate quite nicely, but duality is better all throughout the game. But I feel like that's probably something that comes with a lot of experience playing spellbooks. Anyways, game 2 I bricked real bad, so yeah, one of the worst hands I've ever had. Like wasn't looking at it. Sorry, but if you pause, if you go back 10 seconds and pause, it's probably hilarious. Um, but yeah, here Dark on the plate is pretty strong, but I do have more artifacts that I can go into. So that's always pretty good. I do have the goal to stop the master. Um, I go for chaining to double cyclone on the tower, so it misses timing, and the soul drain is kind of too late. I have soul charge for a bunch of artifacts, and then to go for Blades. And yeah, I bounce that in case it's breakthrough skill, but frankly, I don't think I don't know whether that's the correct play. Ah no, yeah, it is because I have DD Crow in hand, so I can just bait it out, and then I can DD Crow it and banish it out, so you don't have to worry about it next turn. So yeah. Next up we have I skipped the first match versus SRB because the top eight match was a lot cooler. But I lost both matches, which makes sense because it's Kokimeru. Their monsters are bigger than my monsters, so not a great matchup. But here I open like a lot of Drax, but a very strong hand. And we got Soul Charge, we got Jurax, we got Sanctum. We're playing versus Hat with Kalina, who won the tournament, but didn't win against me. Sanctum into double second hitting the blind Cloud Daunted, very nice. But goes for the torrential, not the worst thing actually. To be honest, better than if I hit the yeah. I'm happy I hit the Cloud Daunted basically. That's what I'm trying to say. But here I have a decent enough graveyard for soul charge. Um, so I'm able to go into at least play this. So frankly, versus that, if I wasn't under soul charge, I would probably would have gone for Kiras instead. But I have Cloud Daunted, I have Ignition, that's pretty good. To be honest, I probably could have gone for another soul charge here. Um, yeah, Breakthrough skill on the Dania pretty strong. Drawing to Dead Scythe, not gonna do much with it. Yes, sorry. Yes, Soul Charge for 4. That's pretty huge. Um, I was thinking of another play, but he has Cowboy. I kind of forgot about that. Well, mainly I was hoping he didn't. Could have played that a lot better. But yeah, here I open with double Soul Charge, not great, and Ignition, more attack, breakthrough skill, Velo, not best starting hand, but he also doesn't have any normal summon, so but yeah, does have 5 traps, so that's pretty good. Goes for the big attack. I do have breakthrough skill to stop that. Normal summon normally into TTHN. I do have mind control for big attack, so I can go into Tiras. That's pretty good. Uh, that's Velo not a Guaiba, otherwise I would have even gotten into level 4, rank 4. That's pretty good. Snipe the bank. That's pretty fortunate. But yeah, Tiras gets 101. I set bank, summon Scythe out, just really to bait out the TTHN. Um, go for he has Dark Hole, but yeah, go for the Brick skill on the 1-1. Go for the Soul Charge into Valentira, so I have at least beaters. Those are the only monsters I have in graveyard yet. Um, my ult go is more attack, that's very good. The bank, I have Dress, so I can kind of play control here. Um, I have Breakthrough Skill in the graveyard and run under the bank. I guess it's useful. Um, so yeah, I go for Breakthrough Skill to stop the moral attack. Then I crush the Velo, and then I press the moral attack so I can go into Bye Bye and go into Lagia. Which when he has no resources is better than Dolka even versus Artifact decks. Um, but I'm able to go into another Guaiba, and with the Guaiba, go into Aiolo into another Lagia. And if I didn't have the banks, I would have gone for Dolka, obviously because hands. But I did have double the banks, so I don't really care about high end top deck. Um, This time he goes first. He has a bunch of hands. I have a bunch of dinos. Not much to do here. Um, I go for a Waiba into crushing the ice end, so I can at least do something. I can go into an Armadas to stop the hands, but he goes for a 1-1. I do go for Colonel into Exiton. Um, because this was I didn't hit him here. I forgot. Yeah, no, this was my only play. Exiton into here, and he had the breaker skill. Which was likely because he has set 5, but I literally had no other option to win here. So yeah, sometimes you gotta recognize a skill of playing Yu-Gi-Oh is recognizing when you gotta go for broke. There's just sometimes you gotta go for the desperate play. But this was around 7. I didn't really matter whether I won or lost. I really wanted to play versus Viscalina, so I was really happy I got to play versus him. Um, I was already top of the 6 ones, so the 5 ones. So even if I went 5-2, I was 99% sure I would have topped, and I did. Um, but yeah, this is my rematch versus SRB, and he's playing Kowakimerus. I open with Velo plus Sanctum, and very solid hand. He opens with Bear. He has a lot of forbidden cards. Um, I'm able to lance the big attack to let Chalice resolve. I go for Fossil, uh, dig to beat down, and I'm able to go for my Enbor plus lance. So that's pretty fucking good. Uses both these lances here to stop a bunch of damage. So he's able to have a warning live next turn. Not next turn. So he's able to have warning live. So that's actually a pretty strong play. Pretty genius, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, here he goes first. He goes for bear. Uh, doesn't even normal summon, it just sets because bear is kind of vulnerable to my Drax. Um, Gorilla will be better because at least it triggers, I think. But goes for diamond normal summon diamond core into diamond core into normal summon Horror Knight, but I have the warning. It goes for the Crusader. Then I go in the place for ignition into big attack, please. Um, that gets Chalice. I had Lance, so that was a misplay that was pointed out to me later, and that I didn't notice. I did. Um, was when I was done with the match, I was like, oh, at least I didn't do any misplays. So haha, that's cool. But actually, I did have a huge misplay. Whether that would have won me the game, I'm not entirely sure. But having a level 5, a rank 5 access here, and later soul charge access, that would have been huge. So probably there's a decent chance they would have won. So that's fucking annoying as fuck. Um, Here I go for soul charge for one into big attack just as buffer to not die. And here is just sitting on the Tiger King, and I can do too much here because he has so many fucking traps. Going into the Sanctum first was a misplay. I realized that and changed the Call but I should have just gone for the Call into big attack first to beat out the breaker skill. So then I could have gone for Sanctum into more attack and kill the Tiger King easier. Um, but yeah, not a huge misplay. But here he has Book of Moon for my soul charge, and he's able to go for Fortnite, such and shit and whatever. Maxi is not gonna save me when I have 800 life points. That's and also he has Cowboy because it's Koki Mary. I feel like Cowboy is it's pretty mandatory in that deck. Uh, Frankly, even 2 is an option in my opinion. I'm actually curious whether anyone is playing 2, but I have played 2 in the past. When the little I've played Kokimero, not the little, but the bit I've played Kokimeros. I haven't played the deck in a long time. Probably should. It's a very fun deck. Um, Probably I will probably play with something more similar to SRB's list. Frankly, I do like playing quick plays. Um, although I do like playing Triple Crusader, so I don't remember whether he does or not. But anyways, here I'm basically saved by my Blackhorns, and he doesn't really respect them. But it's not gonna be enough. I'm gonna summon this Scythe as Vader. Um, he's pretty big, but he has forbidden cards just like I do, and that's pretty strong. Here the idea was basically just to bait the forbidden cards with the side before, not really about the effect. When I crashed them before, but he goes for a top decks tanky, and it just part up for bottomless. So I don't really have anything. So yeah, that's it. That's it for me. Leave a like, join the Discord, subscribe, leave a comment, ring the bell. I coach, and goodbye. $10 an hour. I actually forgot to talk about the Forbidden Dress. So here's the first match versus SRB. But basically, when you're going second versus hat, there's there's four common scenarios. Normal summon Murmileo. I normal summon a Drak and the bottomless. I have a dress to stop the bottomless. And if my Drak is Velo and I don't feel like they have artifacts or I can stop the artifacts, I can just crush the Velo into Murmileo and go for a Guaiba and go for a rank 4. Meanwhile, if they don't bottomless me because they want to artifact me, I can just try to attack over the Murmileo if I have Velo. And if they go for the Mortal attack in the damage step, I just dress into the dress the Velo, and that way it can be destroyed. Then I crash into Murmileo and summon out the Guaiba, and with the Guaiba I can it summons out in damage step. I can go into Lagia, and probably gonna bottomless it, so probably gonna go into Axiton instead or uh, 1-on-1. But you kind of get the point. I can go for rank 4. And if I have Guaiba instead, I can just not re-attack because he's summoned the moral attack, so I can go for the replay, so I don't have to attack. Meanwhile, if they go for a set card, I'm gonna assume that's a fire hand. So normal summon Guaiba, attack into the fire hand. If they don't go for any artifact plays, I can just dress in the damage step, so my monster doesn't get destroyed. And if they do go for an artifact play, that's probably not a fire hand, but let's assume it is a fire hand. I can still dress the monster and the Guaiba and still run over the fire hand, so I can trigger it. And fire hand is not gonna trigger. It's not gonna resolve. So and even if it's Velo, I still get the fire hand to not resolve, so that's always good. So yeah, that's kind of why I played dress. Really cool card. Didn't do too much this tournament because it's kind of niche, but at the same time it's really strong when it resolves, and even when it doesn't resolve in that situation, it's still a battle trap that I can use pretty well. So yeah, lets me get over a moral attack. That threshold lets me crash into Gigantex. Um, so yeah,